What if I told you that a young boy who once sold tea at a railway station would one day rise to lead the world's largest democracy? What if I told you that this same man would become one of the most recognized political leaders on the planet? A leader who redefined India's image, economy, and global presence. This is the story of Narendra Modi, a man who transformed from a humble village boy to the Prime Minister of India, not once, but twice. This isn't just a story of politics. It's a story of struggle, of belief, of vision, and of a relentless desire to serve 1 billion people. In today's documentary, we're going on a journey from dusty streets in Gujarat to the grand halls of the United Nations. From childhood poverty to digital India. From local politics to global diplomacy. Whether you admire him or criticize him, one thing is certain. Narendra Modi has changed the conversation about India forever. So, let's dive into the powerful, controversial, and inspiring life of the man they call Namo. 2. Introduction. Narendra Damodar Modi is the 14th Prime Minister of India and has been in office since 2014. He's a member of the Bharatiya Janata Party, also known as the BJP, and is one of the most powerful leaders India has seen in recent decades. But Narendra Modi is more than just a politician. He's also a powerful speaker, a tech-savvy strategist, and a symbol of nationalism and development in India. Known for slogans like Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, which means together with all, development for all, Modi has pushed forward policies focused on digital growth, economic reform, and national security. His leadership has sparked both deep admiration and strong criticism, not only in India, but across the globe. But who really is Narendra Modi, beyond the speeches, the headlines, and the controversies? To understand the man, we have to go back. Back to a small town in western India. Back to where it all began. 3. Early life. Narendra Modi was born on September 17, 1950, in a small town called Vadnagar in the Indian state of Gujarat. His family was poor, very poor. His father, Damodar Modi, ran a tea stall near the local railway station. And young Narendra? He helped. He sold tea with his father, sometimes walking miles to fetch water, wash cups, or clean the small stall. He came from a family of OBC caste, one of the many marginalized groups in India. Life wasn't easy, but those early years taught him hard work, discipline, and independence. He was the third of 6 children, and even as a child, people noticed he was different. While other kids played, Narendra liked to read, think, and talk about big ideas, even politics and spirituality. One story tells of him swimming across a local river just to go to a small camp organized by the RSS, the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, a Hindu nationalist organization that would later become a key part of his political path. By his teenage years, Modi had already developed a deep love for India, its traditions, and its future. But before he entered politics, he took a surprising step. Modi left home. He traveled across India, visiting ashrams, spiritual centers, and temples. He spent time in the Himalayas, living simply, meditating, and reflecting on life. These travels gave him not just spiritual insight, but also a deep understanding of India's diverse people and cultures. By the time he returned to Gujarat in the early 1970s, he was no longer just a tea seller or a wandering seeker. He was a man with a mission. 4. Education and ideology. Narendra Modi's path to education wasn't traditional. He didn't attend fancy schools or universities in big cities. In fact, his early schooling was in a small government school in Vadnagar, where he was known more for his oratory skills and passion than for academic excellence. But what he lacked in formal education, he made up for with self-learning and strong ideals. After returning from his travels across India, Modi joined the Rashtriya Swayamsevak Sangh, RSS, full-time in the early 1970s. Now, the RSS isn't a political party. It's a cultural and ideological organization focused on promoting Hindu values, discipline, and national pride. In the RSS, Modi learned organization, communication, and leadership. He also developed a vision of India that blended traditional roots with modern strength. Modi earned a bachelor's degree in political science from Delhi University through distance learning. Later, he completed a master's degree from Gujarat University. But for Modi, the classroom was never just about books. His real education came from the people, listening to their struggles, living among them, and traveling across the country. Ideologically, Modi began to see India not just as a country of different religions and languages, but as one civilization with deep roots and big potential. He believed in strong governance, economic self-reliance, and cultural unity. His thinking was also shaped by national heroes like Swami Vivekananda and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, both known for their nationalism, discipline, and social reform. This mix of spiritual depth, national pride, and political vision would guide him for the rest of his life. 5. Early political career. In 1985, Narendra Modi officially entered politics. He joined the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, a rising political force that shared many values with the RSS. He didn't start at the top. He worked behind the scenes, organizing events, running campaigns, writing speeches, and traveling extensively. By the 1990s, Modi had become one of the key strategists for the BJP in Gujarat. In 2001, a major turning point came. The Chief Minister of Gujarat, Keshubhai Patel, resigned after the state suffered a devastating earthquake and political mismanagement. The BJP needed a new leader, someone bold, someone fresh. That's when Narendra Modi was chosen to become the Chief Minister of Gujarat. For many, this was a surprise. He had never held an elected office before. He was seen as an outsider, even within the party. But Modi was ready. He took the challenge head-on, and from the moment he took office, he began reshaping Gujarat, focusing on development, infrastructure, power supply, and industry. Under his leadership, Gujarat became known as a model state for economic growth. Industries grew, roads improved, foreign investment increased. But with his rise, also came controversy. 6. Challenges and struggles. In 2002, tragedy struck Gujarat. A train carrying Hindu pilgrims was attacked in Godhra. This sparked deadly riots across the state between Hindus and Muslims. Over 1,000 people were killed, most of them from the Muslim community. Modi, as chief minister, was blamed by many for not doing enough to stop the violence. Some accused him of turning a blind eye. Others called it a failure of governance. A few even alleged it was planned, though no court found Modi guilty of any involvement. The event became one of the darkest chapters in his career. But Modi didn't back down. Instead, he focused on rebuilding Gujarat's image. He doubled down on economic development, infrastructure projects, and clean governance. He launched initiatives like the Vibrant Gujarat Summit, attracting global investors and leaders to the state. In time, Gujarat came to be known for fast development, low corruption, and high industrial growth. But the shadow of 2002 remained, dividing opinion across India and the world. To his supporters, Modi was a tough leader who put the state on the global map. To his critics, he was still responsible for a tragedy that scarred thousands of lives. Still, as the years went on, Modi's popularity continued to grow, not just in Gujarat, but across the country. People saw him as a man of action, a leader who didn't just talk, but delivered results. And by the year 2013, one big question was on every political expert's mind. Could Narendra Modi become Prime Minister of India? 7. Rise to national leadership. By 2013, India was at a turning point. The country was facing economic slowdown, rising corruption, and public frustration with the ruling Congress Party, which had been in power for a decade. The people wanted change. They wanted new energy. They wanted a strong leader. And that's when the Bharatiya Janata Party, BJP, made a bold announcement. Narendra Modi would be their candidate for Prime Minister in the upcoming 2014 general elections. For some, it was a shock. For others, it was expected. Modi began a massive nationwide campaign. He traveled across the country, giving powerful speeches in stadiums, villages, and cities. His message was simple, but powerful. Minimum government, maximum governance. Development for all. India first. He spoke about jobs, infrastructure, smart cities, and fighting corruption. He promised a new India, modern, proud, and strong. He also used technology in ways no Indian politician had before. His team created a massive digital strategy, using social media, holograms, mobile apps, and data-driven rallies to reach millions of young voters. Modi's image shifted from being just a state leader to a national icon. And in May 2014, history was made. Narendra Modi and the BJP won a landslide victory, gaining a majority on their own, something that hadn't happened in India for 30 years. Narendra Modi was sworn in as the 14th Prime Minister of India on May 26, 2014. A tea seller's son had just become the most powerful man in India. 8. Key policies and initiatives. As Prime Minister, Narendra Modi launched major reforms and bold programs aimed at transforming India from the ground up. Let's look at some of the most important ones. Make in India launched in 2014. This campaign aimed to boost manufacturing in India and turn it into a global factory hub. It invited international companies to build in India, create jobs, and improve infrastructure. 2. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Clean India Mission, one of his most personal campaigns. Modi promised to build toilets in every village, clean streets, and promote sanitation. By 2019, India had built over 100 million toilets, reducing open defecation and improving public health. Digital India. This program aimed to connect every Indian to the internet, especially in rural areas. From Aadhaar-linked services to UPI Unified Payments Interface, India quickly became a leader in digital payments and e-governance. 4. Jan Dhan Yojana. A plan to bring banking to the poor. Over 450 million bank accounts were opened, many for the first time, helping people save money, receive direct subsidies, and access credit. 5. GST, Goods and Services Tax. A major tax reform that replaced dozens of different taxes with one national tax. It simplified the system, especially for businesses, though its rollout was met with challenges. 6. Startup India and Stand Up India. These programs aim to support young entrepreneurs, offering loans, support, and simpler regulations for new businesses. 7. PM Awas Yojana, Housing for All, focused on building affordable homes, especially for the poor and rural families. 8. Ujjwala Yojana. This scheme provided free cooking gas, LPG connections to millions of poor women, reducing indoor pollution and improving health. 9. Ayushman Bharat Healthcare Scheme. Called the world's largest government health insurance program, it offers free treatment for serious illnesses to over 500 million Indians. Modi's government also focused on national security, increasing defense budgets, and taking strong stands during border tensions, especially with China and Pakistan. And in 2019, he made another bold move, the abrogation of Article 370, removing the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. To his supporters, it was a long overdue decision. To critics, it was deeply divisive. Despite ups and downs, Narendra Modi's focus remained clear: development, national pride, and strong leadership. In 2019, he was re-elected with an even bigger victory. But Modi wasn't just gaining attention in India. 9. Global image and diplomacy. Narendra Modi didn't just want India to rise. He wanted the world to see it rise. From the start, he focused on improving India's global image and building strong international relationships. He traveled to over 60 countries, including the US, China, Japan, Australia, France, the UK, and the Middle East. In the United States, he developed a personal relationship with presidents like Barack Obama and Donald Trump. He gave memorable speeches at Madison Square Garden and Houston's Howdy Modi rally, where tens of thousands of Indian Americans cheered him on. He met world leaders, signed trade deals, promoted Indian culture, and attracted foreign investments. Modi also launched International Yoga Day at the United Nations, showing the world India's soft power. On June 21st each year, people in over 190 countries now participate in yoga events, a powerful symbol of cultural diplomacy. Under Modi, India took a stronger role in climate change talks, pushed for solar energy leadership, and positioned itself as a leader in the global south. He also focused on defense deals, space exploration, and technology cooperation, especially with countries like Israel, Russia, and Japan. To many global observers, Narendra Modi is a pragmatic nationalist, someone who combines ancient tradition with modern ambition. To his supporters, he made India stronger, respected, and proud. To his critics, he sometimes appeared too controlling or nationalistic. But one thing is clear: Modi turned India's foreign policy from passive to active, and made sure that when India speaks, the world listens. Absolutely. Let's now complete the final 3 sections of your full YouTube documentary on Narendra Modi with a balanced tone and motivational closing for English learners. 10. Criticism and controversies. While Narendra Modi is admired by millions, his leadership has also sparked intense criticism, both within India and around the world. Let's explore some of the major controversies and criticisms. 1. 2002 Gujarat riots. As we discussed earlier, the riots that happened under Modi's watch as chief minister remain a deeply controversial chapter in his career. Though courts found no evidence linking Modi directly to the violence, human rights groups and international critics questioned his response and leadership at the time. 2. Religious polarization. Many of Modi's critics argue that his government has promoted a Hindu nationalist agenda. Laws like the Citizenship Amendment Act, CAA, and the NRC, National Register of Citizens, were seen by some as discriminatory toward Muslims. Large-scale protests erupted in 2019 and 2020, especially among students and minorities. Supporters say these laws are about national security and protecting persecuted minorities from neighboring countries. Critics say they weaken India's secular values. 3. Media control and freedom of expression. Modi has been accused of being hostile to dissent. Several journalists, NGOs, and academics have alleged that freedom of speech is shrinking in India. Independent media outlets have faced tax raids, intimidation, and restrictions. The government denies these claims and says it respects democracy and press freedom. Handling of the COVID-19 crisis. Modi received both praise and backlash during the pandemic. While India produced its own vaccines and led major global donations, the second wave in 2021 saw millions of infections, overwhelmed hospitals, and massive oxygen shortages. Many criticized the government for lack of preparation and holding election rallies during the crisis. Still, India's large-scale vaccination drive was one of the biggest in the world. 5. Economic challenges. While Modi promised jobs and development, critics argue that unemployment remains high, especially among youth. The demonetization move in 2016, where 501,000 rupee currency notes were suddenly made invalid, aimed to fight black money. But it also caused panic and hurt small businesses and daily wage workers. Similarly, the GST rollout, though beneficial in the long term, caused initial confusion and losses for many small traders. Despite these criticisms, Modi remains incredibly popular. His supporters see him as decisive, visionary, and committed to India's growth. But critics worry about polarization, centralized power, and freedom of dissent. As with any global leader, especially in a democracy of 1.4 billion people, debate is natural. And Narendra Modi's story is still being written. 11th, vision for the future. Narendra Modi often speaks of a new India, an Indian that is modern, powerful, and rooted in its ancient culture. Here are some of the key pillars of his future vision. 1. Viksit Bharat 2047, developed India by 2047. Modi has laid out a bold roadmap to transform India into a fully developed nation by the 100th anniversary of its independence. This includes goals like world-class infrastructure, technological self-reliance, 100% literacy and clean energy, global leadership in AI, defense, and innovation. 2. Atmanirbhar Bharat, self-reliant India. He aims to reduce dependency on foreign countries and promote local industries, defense manufacturing, and digital tools. This idea was boosted during the COVID-19 pandemic when supply chains were disrupted. 3. Technology and space missions under Modi. India launched bold missions like Chandrayaan-3, moon landing, and Aditya L1, solar mission, and aims for future missions to Mars and beyond. He sees space, AI, and digital governance as the future of India's global edge. 4. Women empowerment. Modi's future vision includes increased women's participation in the workforce, politics, and education. Laws like women's reservation in parliament were passed under his government to boost gender equality. 5. Youth-centered nation. He often says, "India is a young country. Our future depends on what our youth creates." That's why education reforms like the National Education Policy, NEP, focus on critical thinking, coding, and creativity. Modi's long-term vision isn't just about the economy or global power. It's about creating an India that is confident, united, and future-ready. Whether that vision becomes reality, only time will tell. 12th, message and motivation. From a child selling tea on a railway platform to stand at the United Nations, representing 1.4 billion people, Narendra Modi's journey is one of transformation, discipline, and destiny. You may agree with his policies, you may disagree with his politics, but his story teaches us something powerful. No dream is too big, no background is too small, no goal is impossible if you're ready to work hard for it. Modi's life reminds us that true leadership is not just about holding office. It's about serving people, overcoming fear, and inspiring a nation. In a world full of critics, he chose courage. In a world full of noise, he chose clarity. And in a land of a billion voices, he rose by listening, learning, and leading. So wherever you are in life today, whatever your dream is, remember, greatness is not given. It is earned, step by step, choice by choice, day by day. Narendra Modi's story is not just India's story, it's the story of anyone who believes they can rise above their circumstances and make a difference. If this documentary inspired you, please like, share, and subscribe for more true stories that educate and empower. And always remember, the journey to greatness begins with just one bold step.